Off.
Hi, everyone. It's another Sunday with Pete and Keith. And once again, it's always good to see you, Pete. How's life in the UK?
Oh, it's going good. Well, going well, man. It's super warm here still. There's no sign of rain at the moment. Back.
Yeah.
Was
Yeah.
had a good week.
Yeah, I did. I've got a family in town. So my brother and sister-in-law are here. So I've had a chance to get the family together. So it's been a really
Yeah,
good week. So,
yeah.
yeah. But
So
go ahead.
I want to say, Amy from over in the States, US, she sent in some questions. I mean,
Yeah.
want to
Yeah.
start, let's take the lead on this.
Absolutely. Amy's great. I've had the pleasure of meeting Amy in person a number of years ago at the San Diego Pain Summit. So she's a real firecracker. So she's awesome. So let me just quickly read what she sent us here. So she said she would like us to give an elevator speech to a medical professional explaining what supported self-management is and what a patient needs to do. And for those who might not know what an elevator pitch is, because it's a very North American saying, it's it's imagine you step into an elevator and you have a very short period of time to give your best advice or best comment to somebody in the time of the elevator ride. So it's only a couple of minutes. So, you think I've only got 2 minutes to convince somebody of something and you go. So she's asking us to give us our best short speech to a medical professional on what supported self-management is and what a patient needs to do. You
Yeah.
want to start with that?
Yeah, well, well, I'll let you crack on. I'm an old fella now, mate, and I want to
Okay.
pitch
Well,
if and when.
I'm getting up there myself, but
It's
okay.
a Sunday afternoon, man. Yeah, I'm not struggling, but you
Yeah,
know, yeah,
gotcha. I hear you. Well, I'll jump in there. So for me, in the shortest way, my elevator pitch to a medical professional would be is to say to them, and we started off with something that our good friend Joe Belton said to me one time. All pain is biological, but it's not. All pain is biological, but it's not solely biomedical. And what that means is our bodies are part of pain, but that pain is so much more than just the biology. And that's when we talk about our emotions and our psychology, and that's where supported self-management comes in. And so my elevator pitch to a medical professional is, first of all, validate your patient, let them know that their pain is real and that you believe them. Provide them a little empathy, understand this is hard and doing the best they can. And that if they're stuck as a person who lives with pain, just trying to find that magic bullet, that magic intervention, that may not be the solution. And so they need to, as we talked about last time, Pete, they need to look at that sort of acceptance or willingness and say, hey, this pain's going to be around for a while.
yeah,
And to be able, and so that validation will help them get to acceptance, Mr. Medical or Mrs. Medical Professional. And then supported self-management is you as the healthcare professional be there to support them as you can, because there might be still some intervention that helps. So be there, but listen for them and then start providing them those basic tenets of supported self-management, which we know we talk about are pacing, effective, proper, meaningful movement, managing your stress, all of those things that people can have control over. And when they take that control and they start doing what they can for themselves, their pain may not necessarily get a whole lot less, but their life gets better. And that is a huge
yeah. I think well, I was my pitch really for healthcare professionals just keep information simple, really.
yeah.
What I discovered over the years is that well, the first thing is finding out how does your patient learn? Do they learn from
Yes.
watching, reading, through practice,
Hmm.
etc., things like that. Because it's no good, like I know back in the day, like they just give you a leaflet and well, I'm not a learner. I don't learn from reading. I learn from watching,
Hmm.
and then a little bit of reading. So it's finding out how the people learn and having the right information to hand, to how you're going to engage the patient. Find out what about, as you say, supporting self-management really is king. What the things that they stop doing, what
Hmm.
you want to get back to, how can you help them do that? Explain it to the person, support self-management, a little bit like learning to drive, learning to play an instrument or a new skill, like learning a new language. They needed some simple support, some support at the beginning, then off they go, like, but they're there to help them along the way if and when needed, like,
Hmm.
But main thing really, just remember that we've never been to medical school, or
Hmm.
health, people with persistent pain or long-term conditions. So it's so important just to keep the information simple, and I always call it engage with us at a street level so that we will understand that. But and make it interesting, because some of the stuff I see like is pretty boring stuff, and I
Yeah.
wouldn't engage with it, So
Yeah. Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
what we try to do ourselves, like over the years, when we've co-written the different types of the toolkit,
Hmm.
we try to keep it super interesting, like and
Yeah.
and the videos that we do.
Yeah. No, I think that's great. That's great advice. Just got a few more questions here.
Yeah,
So, and they're just
go
great
for it.
questions. So, she says, what are the pillars of self-management? So I'll just quickly answer that, and I would say, there's lots of different tools and skills that come with self-management, but the pillar or the main goal of supporting self-management is to allow people to regain function and improve their
Yeah,
quality of life. And just as you said, make it fun. If people are doing something that they enjoy, and we talk a lot about this in meaningful movement, don't really care what you do
yeah,
as long as you move your body. And if you're doing something that you love, you'll continue to do it and you'll have fun, as
yeah,
much fun as you can.
yeah,
Yeah.
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 It's pillars. Just what sort of support do they want to get them back on track, back in a driving seat. Because that, we talked about it. How many times we talked about this, Kate? The medical model, which seems to uh, anchor people into it, like and we sort of,
Hmm.
waiting for something to happen. Where
Yeah.
with supportive self-management in pain management, it's about giving the people the freedom to sort of get back on track, and get on with their lives, really, like But this is what find out what perhaps put the question over to the person. What pillars you need, what sort of support you need,
Yeah.
and we come up with that one with the five self-management skills, like
Yeah.
which we talked about in many of the pain toolkits. And I think just keeping it simple, five different things that they could perhaps start off with.
Hmm.
And I'll put a link in it later when we post a video, Keith. I'll put the five simple skills
Hmm.
in there so they can get a bit of a taster for it. But just keeping it simple, really. Getting people back in a driving seat, back on track. And again, making their journey back into where they want to get to, make it more fun. Well, look at it, look things what they stopped doing, but want to return to, and what new things they want to start off with, like because I don't know about you, Keith, but when pain really changed me, and one things I was interested in, and I found out I couldn't do, but I found I got interested in doing things that I would like to do, like.
Right. Yeah.
So, well, one of them, I mean, I ride bikes.
Hmm.
Bit of a stroll around on me a motorcycle this afternoon.
Hmm.
But I found out, I started to learn a different language other than English. Like,
Hmm.
I
Yeah.
started going to night school to learn Italian.
Hmm.
I'm still bloody learning now.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's perhaps it's sometimes it's finding out. It gives us an opportunity while we're in that sort of bit of limbo land that to think about, well, what do we actually want to do, like sort of puts our brain into neutral. Think, well, how can we get on, what's things we want to get back to, what new things do we want to try out,
Yeah, there's a couple of things you said there that just pearls of wisdom, Pete. Have the healthcare provider ask the person, what do they want to, what's important to them.
Yeah,
So let's not assume as a healthcare provider what it is that they want or need. Ask them what maybe they say, I used to love to walk 5 kilometers a day. Well, let's get you walking 500 meters. Let's start you there. But if
yeah,
they have to be the central part of this, and then the
yeah,
healthcare provider can
yeah,
support them
yeah,
in it. So that's brilliant. And I don't think that happens enough. Is
uh,
asking them what's important to them, and like I said, and it's about changing the focus because it's easy enough. You and I have done it. It's not about what I can't do anymore, but it's about what I can do. And
Yeah,
that can do might be something new,
yeah, yeah,
and that's a good thing. So, yeah. Couple more things here from Amy. She says, who, in our opinion, should own this space of supported self-management? In my opinion, the person who lives with pain is a major, major player in this. But as you and I know, this has to be done collaboratively, equitably, and respectfully with their healthcare providers.
yeah,
Like most of the time, the space is owned by the person because we have that responsibility to do the things that we need to do. But that doesn't mean our healthcare provider team is not part of it. So it's still a collaborative team, but I take probably the lead
yeah,
I take the lead for my life. Yeah.
yeah. A little bit like a relationship. And I always remember back in the day, I always used to think, it's not until death do us part. It's it's not a marriage like, it's
Right.
a
Yeah.
personal relationship you have with your coach,
Yep.
your pain support, self-management coach.
Hmm.
Going back to, when you learn to drive or learning a language or an instrument or whatever,
Hmm.
you build up a relationship with the coach. And at some point, they well, you've learned this much now. Now it's all over, you to you. But you know where I am if you get any challenges, like, So, but it's not. I think sometimes a lot of people with pain and long-term conditions, it can be like a, well, if you get stuck, come back and see me, like they're forever going back and seeing someone. Like,
Hmm.
I think, well, when are you going to start doing it yourself, like.
Yeah.
But it can be
Yeah.
frightening, because it is, because you don't forget we've spent years and years, for a lot of people, donkey's years, people seeing the same person or healthcare providers, and the thought of sort of doing it on your own can be a bit scary, like.
Hmm.
Like,
Yeah.
when we first ride a motor, well, no, no, see, obsessed with motorcycles,
Yeah.
but a push bike, bicycle.
Hmm. Yeah.
When you first sort of started out, you was got on there, and your mum or dad was supporting the set.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right, you're going really
Yeah.
well here, Keith, and then or going
Yeah.
really well here, great, well done, Keith, and all of
Yeah.
a sudden you're cycling on your own, and you say, "How am I doing it?" And in the distance,
Yeah.
yeah, you're doing okay.
Yeah, because they're way in the back now.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
think we both know it's a confidence thing as well. Like,
Excellent point. Yeah.
we're building up
Yeah.
the confidence. When people become more confident, they start going from can't do people to being can do people again.
Yeah. No, I love that. Confidence is important. I love what you said again. It's sort of dipping in and out to that support. I've said this too many times to you. I'm probably a pretty good example of supported self-management. I have an implanted medical device.
Yeah,
I get things called lidocaine infusions when I need it. And these are things that I go to when I need them. But most of the time is me doing what I need to do to help
yeah,
myself. But when I need those supports, like I say, I go back and I say, hey, just give me a little help here. But
yeah.
confidence to get started, I love that bike analogy. That's perfect, right? Your mom and dad are holding the bike, and before you know it, they've let go, and you don't know you're doing it on your own. So excellent.
You're doing okay, son.
Yeah,
You're keep
yeah.
pedaling.
Yeah. And all of a sudden you're like, oh boy, I am doing it. So
Yeah,
last question. She had a few more in here, but we'll just kind of wrap this up. She just had such great questions. So Amy, thank you so much for sending this. So um, she would really like our thoughts on how we see supported self-management and how it relates to like peer support and peer coaching. She says right here her bias is she believes that this peer coaching it like supported self-management belongs in peer coaching, and she would like our thoughts on that. So
yeah. I suppose in healthcare terms, Keith, we're perhaps seen as the new kids on the block.
hmm.
Uh, I think I said on another podcast we did a few weeks ago that I was quite shocked once because the support, the term supported self-management is a fairly new concept. Before
Hmm.
it was just known as self-management. But remember in the other podcast, so I was having a cup of tea in bed one Sunday morning and thought, oh, I'll put in here supported self-management, and boy, oh boy, bingo, mate. our National Health Service
Hmm.
a whole section on it on the NHS page
Hmm.
about supported self-management. I'm going, what the Jiminy Quick is going on here?
Yeah. Yeah.
And I tell you, I was shocked, but I think I don't know about you, Keith. I'm seeing more and more coaches now talking about supported
Yeah.
self-management.
Yeah.
Perhaps sometimes it's not it might be known as another name, but wherever you take it. Hey, listen, yeah, and the thing is with self-supported self-management, it's not that really new. I remember it, but I think I talked about it last week on a video or a podcast. But it's not that really new. I mean, I bumped into it. It was something a program that I had to attend, but and it's all started back in the 30s with a couple of dudes from over there in America, and where it had a program attached to it, and you got the support that you needed. Like
Hmm.
to me, it's not nothing new. It's new, I think, to the people in the healthcare system, the general
Yeah.
system, but supported self-management in the actual concept isn't new at all. Like so, but I think it's going to be massive. It won't be the sort of what's that saying I use sometimes? Not the first choice. Not the first choice. It will be the first choice that people give it. When they're delivering
Hmm.
healthcare. But
Yeah.
more, well, in our short time, we've been involved with it. In the last 30, 40 years, is now the amount of people now who are talking about supported self-management. Even the International Association for the Study of Pain.
Hmm.
I've just been preparing some slides for a workshop I'm doing during the week.
Hmm.
Then I'll come in one of my slides is from the International Association for Study of Pain,
Hmm.
and there they talk about supportive self-management being
Yeah.
at the start, not at
Yeah.
the end,
Yeah.
uh,
Yeah.
right from the get-go sort of thing.
Yeah. That's great to
So
see. Yeah.
everybody, from our NHS and
Hmm.
service, I'm guessing you guys over there,
Yeah. It's getting big in Canada now. Yeah.
I think
So,
it's a fantastic and bright future in front of us.
yeah. What I love, and she talks about, sort of her bias about peer coaching or peer support. Um, I agree with you that we're seeing it's getting to be more and more understood, which is amazing. How to operationalize it, I do think that a big part of it comes from peer support groups.
Yeah,
Again, as it's supported self-management, healthcare providers, like traditional like medicine still has a role to play. Pharmacological solutions when
yeah,
necessary, those are still there. But I think a big part of it comes from that peer support. And I think you and I are both on the same page when we feel that peer support is one of the greatest things that people can get. When you're sitting with one
yeah,
person or a room of people who you share experiences, that's when you feel sort of heard and supported, and it might be a little easier to
yeah.
to do the things that you need to do when others can support you in it.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Uh, how do we? I mean, myself. Well, we obviously we met. We knew on ourselves on social media. We
Hmm.
physically met at the IS Congress in Boston in
Hmm.
2018.
Hmm.
But to me, that was the beginning of like you, me, Ronnie Thompson, Keith O'Carroll, uh, Joe Belton.
Yeah.
I mean, that to me was the we all. It was like I know I got a bit. I got a bit. But when I was talking to members, talking to Joe, like, I was saying to her, this meeting up of physically meeting.
Hmm.
I said, do you know what, Joe? I don't feel I'm on my own anymore, like,
Right. Yeah. Hmm.
And I started not crying, but
Yeah.
like, that
Yeah.
was
Yeah.
that. But the thing is, when you connect people with other people, like-minded people,
Hmm.
what you've been through, they can. We haven't really. Sometimes you haven't got to say anything because they've been through what you're going through or been
Hmm.
through, like, So
Yeah.
that connection as well. So peer support, I think, Amy, you're dead right. I think it's got a massive part to play because we, when I was on the expert patients program, that the magic of that, the main thing of getting that job of being a trainer, on the NHS expert patients program, was that the main criteria is that you live with a long-term condition.
Right.
And
Hmm.
so when you're standing out in front of the group, you wasn't there. you're just guiding people through the program, etc. But no one could, but no one, there were none of the participants could stand up and say, or sit there and say, you don't know what it's like to live with a certain,
Right. Yeah.
because we could, because we've been there.
Yeah.
There's always two tutors, two
Yeah.
coaches, and well, yeah, we know because we live with long-term conditions ourselves.
Yeah. Yeah.
So to me, that was a Stanford model, by the way. That
Hmm.
Amy you're probably familiar with. There's
Hmm.
loads of different models out there, but I think peer support, peer coaching, I think it's one of the rocks really in supporting self-management.
Totally agree. And just to finish up that thought on that, because I completely agree with you. Because living with pain and other long-term health conditions, but we're talking pain today, can be so challenging both
Yeah,
physically and emotionally and
yeah,
psychologically. You need credibility. You need somebody in the front of the room who's talking to you. And if they don't have that credibility, I'm not going to listen to them. I'm going to say, as you said, you don't know. When you're up there and you're telling me because you've got 40 years experience in this, I'm going to listen.
yeah.
So, yeah.
But,
So I'm with you. Pure
yeah,
support.
it's important as well, Keith, is that the person up there has some sort of training, so it doesn't turn into like a bit of a war story sort of group, like.
Right. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
they've got to have some sort of training and skills
Yeah.
in support self management. In other words, like lesson plans and stuff like that.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. So, yeah. Well, Pete, I think, we have some great questions. My dear friend, Amy Bushhiker from the US, lovely human being. Thank you for sending in those questions. We really appreciate it. We hope others have found this interesting. And as always, Pete, as we wrap this up, because we like to get together, we try to get together every Sunday or as often as we can on Sundays. If you have any questions or thoughts, if you have any comments, if you disagree with us, we would love to hear if you don't agree with some of our stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
Drop us a note. You can always reach us through the Pain Toolkit website, and that'll get to us. So, Amy, thanks again for the great questions, and Pete, thanks for another great chat on a really important set of questions that Amy gave us today.
Okay. Thanks, Keith. See you again
All
next.
right. Thanks, Pete. Thanks,
Later,
everyone.
everyone. Ciao. Bye.
See ya.